This entire team has been lifted tonight by Odell Beckham. This is sick. Put this to music.
God, I can't fucking wait for tomorrow.
Dude, it's crazy. It's like the most excited I've been for a football season ever, I think.
I was looking through all my matchups for my guys, and some of them are tough matchups, but I'm like, it'll be so much fun still to see them.
Seriously.
All right, Rad League podcast. This is pre-week one, post-draft. We're about a week removed from the draft. Everyone's got guys on the screen, guys on the app. Jacob, welcome into episode 2 of the season. Little week one preview here.
How's it going, guys? Yeah, it'll be unreal. We were just saying how excited we are for football to be back, and we have guys on our rosters. It's an incredible time to be alive.
Yeah, we had the draft the other weekend. Bijan Robinson, first pick to no one's surprise, worst kept secret all off season there. But good player. So what we're gonna do today is we're gonna go through the first 3 rounds, kind of evaluate some of these picks, who everyone kind of added to their keeper core, what they've done here, and then we'll do some week one matchups and get a temperature check on each team heading into week one.
It's a good call.
Yeah. All right. So round 1, just quick recap. Bijan, Garrett Wilson 2, Austin Eckler, CeeDee Lamb, Travis Etienne, Amon-ra St. Brown, Jahmyr Gibbs, Ramondre Stevenson, J.K. Dobbins, Najee Harris. So a lot of running backs to finish off the end there. What are some picks you really like here?
So it's funny. The first thing, because I have the sheet in front of me with all the picks, the first thing that came into my mind, funny enough, was like, wow, Garrett Wilson at 2 doesn't look out of place in that list. Like 2 seemed really high at the time.
Yeah.
And then I saw Chris Olave pick 1 of round 2, and I was like, whoops, never mind. But the easiest thing I would say is EMG to get Amon-ra and Austin Eckler in the first round together is dangerous. So that's what stands out first for 2. And then you getting CD also, I really like it 4 there is pretty good. Other than that, Gibbs, time will tell. There's upside there.
The bottom 4 of those, they're all very different RBs, I would say. Gibbs. Yeah. I wasn't going to use a first round pick on him, but I can't blame anyone who was going to. I just didn't want to sacrifice the first couple weeks of potential low scores. But Ramondre, again, he's a real good running back, but I don't know if you want to use your first round pick and a guy whose points could be replaced by someone else at a lower draft capital. But safe running back, J.K. Dobbins, I love. Najee should be just real good. Like, if you're getting Najee 110 in this league any year, it's probably fine. You'll be fine.
Yeah, it's probably fine.
You could do worse. Yeah. He's not
going to. Ramondre, I'm just like, do you want to watch the Patriots on Sunday? Because I don't. So
yeah,
it's a tough one though. He's great. Like, he's a very good running back, no doubt about it. Dobbins, great week 1 matchup, going to be a stud. Najee's he's fine.
Those 4 plus Etienne is 5, Eckler 6, Bijan 7 RBs in the first round. 3 receivers, Garrett Wilson, CeeDee Lamb, Amon-ra St. Brown. Those are 3 just absolute stud receivers. And that's kind of what I love doing in the first round now, is getting that stud receiver, because I do like the running backs later on in these drafts. CD was a guy for me that I probably would have taken at number 2 overall if I had that pick.
For sure.
Just because I think he made more sense for my team, but Eckler and Wilson are going to be great players too. Moving on to round 2, you started off Olave with the first pick there in the second round. I thought he was a first rounder all the way.
So did I, no doubt.
But the second round, I view it as a bit of a drop off here after Devonta Smith in the second pick. So I'll recap it quick and then I'll go to you. Chris Olave, Devonta Smith, Joe Mixon, Calvin Ridley, Miles Sanders, T. Higgins, Dameon Pierce, DK Metcalf, Amari Cooper, Cam Akers. So the end of the round there is a lot different than the names we started the round with.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like, as you said, there's this drop off after Smith, but then the one pick that stands out to me is Miles Sanders going that high is kind of wild. That's what I thought too at the draft. And then also I thought Cam Akers went a little bit high, but I mean, if you could take him there now with Cup out, I don't know about that one, but
Yeah.
his usage could be there. But yeah, Olave great, Smith great. There's some good guys in there. And then Calvin Ridley I wanted so bad.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's pretty solid.
It's interesting. I love getting Dameon Pierce at the 207 personally because when I went receiver in the first round, I saw all these running backs go off as I thought may happen, and then was hoping some would slide to the second there. Wasn't sure. And there was a big receiver run kind of before me there, as everyone gets their RB in the first round and then they scramble to get the wide receiver. And I think I kind of got the last spot of maybe that RB1/2 value there.
Yeah, I think you did.
Interesting. GSOP didn't take a receiver in his first 3 picks. He went Bijan, Akers, Jalen Hurts.
And let me tell you, because GSOP immediately looked at me and was like, my receivers are going to suck.
We start a lot of players in this league. Sometimes you just got to go who you think's going to get the points. Metcalf, he's a classic second round receiver. Amari Cooper seems to be in that area now. Ridley,
though, you can't talk about the DK Metcalf pick without talking about him not picking Mahomes. Like, not picking Mahomes to me was the craziest thing in the draft. Almost like
I kind of get it though. I kind of get it. It would have been great to go up pair that stack, but I almost think you don't want to reach that high on a stack if you could get DK Metcalf. Like, I know why Dame did it. I think he would have been totally good if you went Mahomes there too. And then, his next pick was, he didn't have a third rounder.
No, because it went to me.
Because he had 2 seconds. Because he had 2 seconds. Yeah. So he had 2 seconds and he went Ridley and Metcalf. And you know what? After keeping a tight end and no receiver, I totally get why you'd go with that combo. Ridley.
Yeah, that makes sense.
All offseason, I was nervous where he's going to get drafted. I was nervous where I would have him ranked. And I didn't know he'd be this high in the second round. I thought maybe he'd settle as a third rounder. At least I hope he'd be a third rounder because that'd be somewhere I would draft him. Maybe not in the second, but yeah, he could be fucking good. And then Joe Mixon, that's a good RB to get in the second round. I probably would have had him sneaking into the first there, but all those RBs are pretty interchangeable. Olave, Devonta Smith to start that round, though. I could have had either of those guys top 6 picks in the draft. I could have seen them going there.
Yeah, without a doubt. Yeah, I think it's a weird one because, like, I had Ridley, a couple times he fell to 309 for me, and then in my head, it's never happening. Like, it's just never happening.
I was saying this at the draft. Any mock draft you do, any draft through another league, any platform, no one gets the good players quicker than the Rad League.
Facts.
You'll never be in a draft where you get all the good players going off early on than when you're in the Rad League draft. You're always left with less elite options than you think when it comes to your pick in this league.
It's crazy. Like, last year, I'm going into the draft with like Henry, Kamara, CMC, and then I didn't have a pick till the 4th. And that entire time, I'm mocking AJ Dillon to the 4th. And pick fucking 111. I'm like, what the hell? That was my introduction to that.
No one's scared to jump on what they think will happen. They'll break out and then round 3, this was the quarterback round.
Right.
Quarterback, we had our first tight end. And then a bunch of other just really good players that, could have been late second round picks if the league had gone differently. Jalen Hurts, Aaron Jones, Patrick Mahomes, Lamar Jackson, Alex Madison, Brandon Ayuk, Justin Fields, Mark Andrews, DJ Moore, Deebo Samuel. What's your most favorite and least favorite pick in that third round? This is where it really starts getting into judgment calls. Like the first round, draft a stud that is not going to fuck you over. Round 2, trying to do the same thing where it's a balance of the upside versus the guaranteed safety points. And then round 3 is where you really got to decide how you're going to shape your roster.
Yeah, without a doubt. I think so. My favorite pick, I'd say, is probably like Mahomes, as much as I hate to say it, because getting Mahomes that late is like pretty solid in my
Yeah.
mind. Like he could have gone second round.
I mean,
Could have,
Hurts went 2 picks before. I had
yeah,
Hurts QB1, no question.
right, exactly. And yeah,
I
you could
almost
say
thought
Hurts
about going
too.
Hurts with
Yeah,
both of my first 2 picks.
yeah, you could easily have said Hurts is the steal there. As far as worst pick goes, it's a tough one, but I'd probably lean Madison for two reasons. One, never rated him going into the draft, and two, I'm the Ty Chandler owner, so I feel like eventually I gotta be like, yeah.
Hmm.
But yeah, I would say probably Madison might have been a little bit high for me, but the rest of them like so much upside that could have like Mark Andrews big upside, Debo could be really really good, DJ Moore could be good, Lamar
Justin
obviously could be
Fields,
good.
Mark Andrews. Yeah, I don't love Aaron Jones to start the third round, but when you're looking past that, the running backs, we kind of already hit the drop off at that point.
Right.
So I get why Andy he didn't pick for a while after that. You got to get an RB there because after that, it would have been to, the next tier of running backs was like Dalvin, Swift, Rashad White, Khalil Herbert. So there's still some good guys, but if you like Aaron Jones, yeah, just go for him. Brandon Ayuk, surprised to see him go before Debo, but I had them back to back in my rankings. I really wanted one of these guys.
Yeah.
I wanted someone on the Niners, ended up with Kittle. If I was on the clock and they were the two best receivers I was looking at, I don't know which one I would have taken between Debo and Ayuk. It would have
Hard
been an
call.
in the moment decision. Yeah. Um, yeah. Wow.
I
And
had Ayuk slightly ahead of Debo, not quite. I never had Ayuk going before my 309. I didn't think that was going to happen. And then Don obviously reached for him. I thought there was a world Drew took him at 303 or 302, like in one of those two picks because he loves Ayuk. But other than that, I never had anybody taking him. And then I was so tempted to take Debo at 309. I mocked it a bunch, but just
yeah,
having McCaffrey was like, I'd rather switch the teams than be stuck
fair,
with Niners. So
fair. One thing I'll say about this draft, we've seen the picks at the turn, getting 110
yeah,
in lottery. We've seen that just get botched year over year by myself, by Mike. Mike's backing it this year to go Najee Olave, then Debo, Joe Burrow. That is the best I've seen with turn picks in a long, long time.
yeah, it's disgusting.
Skipping forward to what he did next, Rashad White, Jordan Addison, two players that he really likes that he thinks are just good. Like, again, he's splitting up positions. He goes running back and receiver. Then he goes receiver and QB, running back and receiver. Next up, he went Pitts and Monster, grabs his tight end and another depth RB. Like,
Yep.
after that, he went, oh, well, this is where the picks got traded and you can't really tell. But that is such good, like, position management, I think, at the turn, which, it's his second time go around and he probably learned from last time.
For sure.
Yeah. If you had to, let's see, I guess you didn't have any picks here where was your first pick? Just the third? You didn't have a second.
309,
right?
yeah.
Yeah. So DJ Moore was your first pick of the 2023 draft.
Yeah.
Shortly after that, you went David Montgomery.
Yep.
And then who was your next pick after that? DeAndre Hopkins?
Yeah, then DeAndre Hopkins, and then Darren Waller, Brian Robinson, Marquise Brown, Michael Thomas. But it's tough. Like if I had to pick a pick, I thought that I like my best pick of the draft, Michael Thomas, because I'm high as fuck on Michael Thomas this year. Mostly because I think him and Derek Carr have apparently good chemistry. Who the fuck knows though? And I just think he got to stay healthy. Like this is what I did with McCaffrey last year. I traded for him, being like he's been hurt for 2 fucking years. Like eventually he'll play a season. So if Michael Thomas just plays a season, then maybe you get 1,000-yard receiver in the 9th round and you feel good.
So you have Michael Thomas as you think of your favorite pick, value pick, whatever. Who do you think was your worst pick that you made?
That's tough because Marquise Brown, I would say I don't love, but he was the only receiver in that range left. So I'm like, as the only pick I could make really, but I would say probably him.
Yeah.
I would go with Marquise Brown.
For me, I think, I think my favorite pick is Khalil Herbert.
Yeah.
To get him in the 5th round. I kind of saw him as a running back. Someone might go in the 3rd or 4th round.
Yeah.
Just, I think he's a perfect build for our scoring format. Standard, rush attempts, yards, touchdowns, like just a team that's going to be trying to move the ball, a team that has a good defense too, run heavy. My first 5 picks, I really like them. And then 6 after, I get a little bit dicey. My least favorite right now, it's George Kittle, because I don't know if he's playing anymore. I don't know if he's playing anymore, and he might fuck me again to start the year. But I'm trying to remember, like, I loved this guy when he got back to being who he was last year.
Right.
And last year I took him first pick of the 4th round. This year to get him in the 6th, I know I can live with that.
Right.
But still, I like, 7th, 8th round going Burks and Jigba, to, sophomore and a rookie receiver, 2 guys that if fucking one of them hits, I'll probably be in a good spot to have him as a wide receiver 4.
Yeah.
So Kittle's probably the one that I'm the most nervous about.
If Kittle fucks you over like 2-3 weeks, is that the last time he'll be an ALL?
I mean, I can't even say that, because it might be 2 weeks of that, but I have in my mind that last year, week fucking 7 to 15, this guy was getting 20 points every other week. Like,
true, yeah.
And last year he wasn't practicing. Like, he got hurt right after the draft and like wasn't practicing. This injury he's dealing with, it's the same thing. It's the groin. It's literally the same thing, but it happened like August 5th. Like, this is like a month ago. He's practiced on and off. He's limited all the time. He ran routes in a preseason game. Like, I don't think it's the same. I think even if, sure, week 1 he might be limited. Last year he was limited for the first 4 weeks. Like, I remember being like, I can't play him anymore. Like, he's in the game. I can't play him. So I don't think it'll be the same amount of that.
No, that's fair.
All right. That's our little draft recap there. Let's get into the week 1 matchups, and let's do some predictions here. It's a really good way to start off the season. First up, I'll go me and Mike.
Yep.
This guy's roster is fucked. It's scary when you look at it, because he is starting 5 running backs for a standard league, something that you don't see when you play Tink week 1.
True.
He's got 5 running backs, and then you go, oh, well, what's going on with the rest of the team? He's got receivers of Chase, Olave, and Debo.
Yep.
Like, that, probably the best 1, 2, 3 in the league. And then Burrow, Pitts. Like, I love my team. I think I have the star power that could match him in Lamar, Waddle, Lamb, Pickens, Henry, Pierce, like these guys. But holy shit, is this a test week 1?
It's going to be a big one, yeah.
Yeah, even if this week is more about seeing what my guys can do. If I put up 122 and lose, I'm still moving on to next week, confident in my team and trying to build off that. But if there's a world he might just 150 bomb.
I think so, because here's what I thought.
Might be 0-1 and in 7th place.
Yeah, it's true. The one thing I had in my head when I like just briefly glanced at it is, as you said, the 5 running backs was just ridiculous. But also you got Lamar against Houston, so that could be like run city for a little. Like, they might get up early. You might have like a big first half. Sometimes he'll go crazy. So
tough matchups too. Like Henry against the Saints. Saints, I swear, were a good D. I've got Pickens against the Niners. Can't be good. True. And we're talking about Baltimore. Damian Pierce is up against Baltimore.
Right.
Like, that's not a great start either. Yeah.
No, it's not.
But I don't want to look too much into the matchups week 1. A lot changes last year. I just want to see these guys get out there. I think Lamb and Waddle have great matchups, and they are probably my 2 best players. Yep. They're probably my 2 best players. So I'll feel okay going with them. So what's your prediction here? Obviously, I'm going with myself. I think I'm gonna pull it out, but
it's funny. It's actually, this one was a toss-up, because as much as I think Mike's team looks better when you first glance at it, I think you have better matchups with like Houston, the Giants, the Chargers. Like, that Chargers Miami game is going to be a fucking shootout.
Yeah.
Like,
he's got the Cleveland D with his Cincy boys, which
Yeah.
tough D, but it could be all right.
Yeah, I think you'll
You got Najee
I'll go
against
with
San
Mike.
Fran
I'll
and
go with
Debo
Mike,
against
but
Pitt.
it's tough. It's so close, man. It's
Yeah,
so close. It's
yeah,
gonna be a really fun one to watch.
yeah. All right. Next up here, I've got Inferno versus Greatest Show on Paper. So let's hear your take on your matchup.
So I fucking love my team, first of all. On paper, my team is just as scary as Mike's, which I love.
Now that we see your team and we're not just looking at who you drafted and we see your essentially 4 keepers on your roster, it's like, yeah, this is trouble.
It's a fun one for sure. I
Yeah.
like it. It's the best I've felt like leaving a draft ever in any league I've
Yeah.
played in.
Everyone says that every year, but it's something I truly feel about my team this year.
There you go. Yeah.
Yeah.
You kind of have to. Like, you
I
just
know.
like, whether you feel good or you don't. Like Tink knows he fucked it and has to put on that face, like, where he's just like, I love my team. Look, you don't. Whereas like we can kind of look at our teams and be like, oh, they're good. Like, it's cool. But I mean, Rocco's fucked. Like, his roster's so good. I'm pissed I have to play him week 1. And I'll be honest, I don't love the Jets matchup for the Diggs and Allen thing. Like, Sauce Gardner's going to be on Diggs the whole game. It's going to suck. But I still I think Allen will be fine, and the rest of the matchups are pretty okay. And thank fuck Montgomery got a touchdown on Thursday.
Yeah,
that was super big for me. But
I mean, even if you just put up 7.5 and you didn't find the zone, it wouldn't have killed you. But
right,
your team's
but
really
that was it was needed. It was big because I don't really have an RB2 other than him. I mean, Brian Robinson versus Arizona will be fun.
That'll be good first week. And then we'll see what that guy's, how he goes after that. But he should be good next.
And then with Rocco's team, like, he's got stupid matchups. I swear his projections have gone up fucking 7 points or something in the last 2 days, because Nick Chubb's now projected for 14.5, Robinson 14.5. His receivers, if AJ Brown and Hurts don't slaughter me, then I'll feel all right. But no, he's got a really, really good team, super strong.
Yeah, I mean, the depth isn't there of his team from last year, but the Hurts Brown stack and then RBs of Chubb and Bijan, that is insane.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
It's and then for McLaurin, Lockett, Gabe Davis, those guys can just make plays whenever. You don't need them all to be good at the same time.
Right.
Akers RB3, and then he doesn't have an RB after that, which might questionable, but he has the 2-headed monster. You almost whatever.
It's almost like it doesn't matter, really.
Yeah. I'm gonna go with you. I'm gonna go with your team though.
I'll take it.
I see. He's got, you both have the QB wide receiver thing, and then I think your players just kind of, you have more guys that out nudge his, despite his. Bijan could get 17 his first week, and that'd be amazing. Yeah. But the fact that Montgomery is only 4 less than that, that's not too big of a deal.
That's what I thought too when he got the 13. But I don't know. I'll still go with Rocco just to cover the bases. I'll back Rocco this week.
All right, moving on. We've got Eat My Grit, the vacuum cleaners. Tough start, I guess, for vacuum cleaners. Not too bad. 5.4 from Pacheco the other night. Eat My Grit started on a positive note with 13 for Amon-ra St. Brown. Good, but this is the thing about St. Brown. He, that was a game where he was real involved in. He was, their main playmaker passing the ball. And you look at the end and it's 13. It felt like he had more because he made more plays in big moments, but that's kind of what he is a little bit. He's not going to have the 40-yard catch. He doesn't spread the field like that.
Yeah.
Still, I love his team. Amari Cooper, Brandon Ayuk.
Yeah, it's insane.
He's got 3 running backs in the flex. Even if they're all timeshare guys, week 1, you have them all getting 10 touches, probably guaranteed. Could be a lot worse.
For sure.
Zach's team is better than his chip team.
Way better.
And he's got good running backs that, Mixon, Stevenson. He's got Connor, Pacheco, guys that I guess are going to be playing a lot. Mark Andrews and Justin Jefferson. So I'm going to go Don here just because I like all of his secondary names guys better than the keepers.
Yeah.
Even with him missing Cooper Cup, I don't love Mike Will and Deontay Johnson, you know.
No.
Um, but even matchup though, I'm gonna go Don.
It's a tough one for me because, like, going into the draft, like, Don had the best start pick wise of anybody. And then you look at his roster
Yeah.
now without Cup, and you're like, it's good. But what gets me is the three RBs in the flex. Like Jamal Williams, especially with Kendry Miller probably not going to play.
Yeah.
So it's just him in the backfield. There's no one else. And then you got AJ Dillon, who will probably fucking line up on the goal line once if he can get in. He's a fat loser who I fucking will never ever roster again ever. But he might fall in for a touchdown. And then Javonte, even on a snap count against the Raiders, could be really good. So
Yeah.
I think I'd probably lean EMG as well. But I mean, if Mark Andrews, like, fucking look at Combs flexes, like they're so good. Ramondre in the flex, Connor in the flex, Dotson, they're all really good.
Yeah.
But I probably lean EMG. It'll be really close though. These matchups are great week one. They're
Two
all
good teams. Yeah, those are two really good teams actually.
Yep.
Slight edge to EMG. I just like his, but fuck, Jefferson is the guy who could.
Yeah, he's like a difference maker.
Eckler too. I mean, we'll see. I was slightly scared of Eckler going into this year.
Yep.
But he most likely has at least one more year left of like 15 touchdowns and just catching.
Probably. Yeah, it wouldn't shock me at all.
Two more here. Next, we've got Jackrabbits versus Jabronis. A lot on the line here. So
fucking Tony, man.
Lower projections so far in this one. We got 100 and 103.
Yeah.
Tony with a goose. A goose week one is hard to do in the Rat League post draft. Granted, his keeper Christian Watson is out week one, so he had to kind of make some decisions. But you drafted Kamara, you drafted Judy, who's probably not going to play, even though they have him in there right now.
Yeah.
So you had to get, whenever you draft a guy that's going to be sitting guaranteed for a couple weeks, you're going to be scrambling here and there. Like, you never know what's going to pop up. So, I don't know. What do you think?
It's a tough one for me because, like, I mean, I looked at the Tony performance, and the funniest thing that I saw, like, I know he was the lowest graded wide receiver in a game since 2018, and someone's like, how would you grade lower? Turn around and shoot Patrick Mahomes? Like, there's really nothing you can do. He was so bad.
Yeah.
And if, starting with a goose egg is tough, I probably still give it to Jab, just because you don't know if Judy's going to play, and who's he throwing in? Darnell Mooney? Like, that'd be the worst.
Why was Deion Jackson not picked up by him?
Yeah, he's sleeping.
Judy's probably not going to play. He hasn't seemed like he's going to.
Has it been 6 business days since the draft, though? Because that's kind of the turnaround time for Jay to pick up a guy. So
let's see. We drafted on the it's getting there. It's the 9th.
Yeah,
drafted on the 3rd.
That's true. So it has been.
You should have known he was there.
Yeah. I should have known.
But most likely Mooney is the 3rd flex, and I don't think that guy's been played in a Rad League in 15 months. Yeah.
Really, though, it's crazy. I probably lean Jab, but even though, like, I look at Jab's bench, like, he's got upside, but nobody he can start. Zero players.
No.
So,
but he's got, I think Fields, Tyreek Hill, Devonta Smith.
Yeah, stuff.
Week 1 Kenneth Walker, week 1 Dalvin Cook are better than kind of what Jay's going on, unless Jacobs and ETN go off. Gibbs putting up 6 wasn't great, even though he looked really good.
Yeah.
If there was a matchup, though, that would allow you to do this, it's the one who, his keeper was out week 1, his opponent, and drafted Kamara. Judy, who's probably not going to play. So, it might work out surviving Gibbs 6th week as your first round pick.
Exactly.
And that would be huge. When he gets more touches, that could work really well. Jab would call that the shine, but it's not like we knew Jay was going to have all these guys out. Final matchup.
Yeah.
Tinker Soldiers bench warmers are lowest projected.
This is retarded.
Yeah.
Like, Pink Lock again. Yeah.
This is, it is Tink Luck with Travis Kelce being out. So we'll see. I still like the players Dame has. Pollard and Dobbins, I think, are going to be good. I think Ridley, Metcalf, and Mike Evans, even though there's not like he doesn't have like a true top 5 wide receiver there. Like those three are all sick.
Yeah, I don't love Pittman. Just the way
Pittman's dust.
also.
Pittman's dust.
Yeah, like it's tough. And James Cook against like a really good Jets D, and then Komet and
Yeah, I'm interested to see James Cook. I didn't know really how people are going to feel about him this year or what he's going to be like.
It's tough though because I look at his roster and
Sky
like
Moore start, 0.4 last there, but 0.4 from him, and Tink gets a total of 24 from MVS and Mahomes. Dame will probably take that even with Sky Moore getting half a point.
Yeah, you got to take that. It's not good. Like in terms of Mahomes, usually way outperforms.
Like if Mahomes got 25, MVS had 5, and Sky Moore had 5, Dame would be like, "Yeah, all right, whatever,
right.
like survive
exactly.
that." So this is essentially the same thing.
Yeah, and I mean it's funny though too because I love a lot of guys on Dame's roster, but you look at the names, right, and it's like, okay, Calvin Ridley, he'll probably get you. He could have 100 yards, no touchdown, right? But then he just meets his projections. So it's like I'm trying to figure out a way. And the only guy I really see who I'm like, oh, he'll beat his projections is Dobbins for sure, because against Houston, they're just going to run like crazy.
Yeah.
And then he needs like a couple random touchdowns. Like he needs like Mike Evans to talk, Ridley to talk.
Yeah.
There's definitely a way because I don't love Zay Flowers on for week 1 anyway. I love him.
No, it's that's why I'm not playing JSN week 1. I don't these receiver rookies, we're used to them being so sick if for fantasy, like early on in their careers in their rookie years, but week 1 is tough. Like other than Jamar Chase, I don't remember a guy that's freaking popped and took over like that. Like Jefferson took like 3 or 4 weeks.
Yep.
I'm trying to think if there was last year. Like Burks wasn't good. I think Dotson ended up being good week 1, but like Pickens,
Wilson wasn't good. Yeah,
Garrett wasn't doing much. London was okay, I think week 1. But it's tough to expect a lot week 1.
And I mean Barkley's there for Tink too, and Jones.
Dallas tough matchup though.
Yeah,
Cowboys tough matchup. Aaron Jones in Chicago, I think, is a tough matchup, but he's the type of RB that regardless of the matchup, he can be involved in any situation.
As much as I hate to say it, I think I lean Tink week 1 here because
I look through the rosters and I want to pick Dame, and then the projection's lower, but Dak is projected 17.
Yeah, he can get 22.
Pretty low for a quarterback. Like, what do we see Jared Goff just get? Like 15 the other night, and he had like 1 touchdown.
Yep.
Like Prescott could go out there and get 280 yards, 2 touchdowns, and
for sure
easy. Like he could put up more than Mahomes in the low.
Yeah, if he does, then I like Dame's chances. But if he doesn't, then
Dame's going to need his receivers and his running backs. We'll see how the tight ends go for Tank, Hawkinson, and Goddard. If he gets 15 points combined out of those, he's probably not happy, but it's probably okay. 20 points would be good if you get 20 points from those guys, which is probably doable, to be honest. If you can go like, I don't know, 14-6 or 10-10, like that would be solid, and that would probably make a difference. I'm going to go Dame just to differ with you there.
Okay.
So I think Ridley and Metcalf, Ridley against Indy. Indy's DBs are so shit. Last year they were getting cooked. Metcalf against the Rams. Ramsey's gone. Like, I don't know who the Rams have on defense anymore. There's no way Metcalf isn't getting a TD.
Yeah.
It's
weird because it's like last year I thought there was much more like one-sided matchups. This year they could all go either way.
Yeah. We'll see week 1. I think that's the wrap on week 1. Didn't we have one other thing here that we wanted to do? Something you said.
I don't think so.
Strongest teams post drafts. Give me your top 3.
Strongest teams. I'll go FIO, myself, and Rocco. Those are my 3 for the time being.
Okay.
You're a very close 4th. You're like, I would say just that slight below. Yep.
My top 3. I was thinking about this earlier. I've got, in no particular order, myself, Figure It Out, and Inferno. I've got you in the top three there too. And then close ones was like Jab and G-Saw. And then yeah, pretty much, even after that, like vacuum cleaners, bench warmers, they have pretty good rosters, I think. I'd probably
Everybody's
put
good
Jackrabbits.
this year.
I'd put Jackrabbits and Tink down at the bottom, probably.
Stands to reason.
But I think if I truly think ETN could be like 6. So if he's a guy that is putting up like RB1 numbers and Jay can ride him, and if Jacobs can do what he did last year, I think he'll have a good team because I do like Madison and Higgins, Herbert, but
if everybody was healthy, like if the whole rosters of the entire league were healthy, EMG and J would be so much better, like ranked. Yeah,
it's hard to look at EMG without Cup because like I already really liked his receivers just of Amon-Ra, Ayuk, Mari Cooper, and Cup wasn't even there, and they still the 3 RBs and flex.
Yeah. I'm just like, thank God I play
that
EMG
team a lot. Actually, that team is probably my honorable mention for top top 3. Actually, okay. Well, I think that wraps it up. Yeah, we've got week 1 tomorrow, the first Sunday. I've got like 7 players that are playing at 1 o'clock. It's going to be incredible. Scott Hansen in the Octo box. Good luck to everyone. I hope there's no injuries, no severe injuries to any of our guys.
Please no.
Unless you have the backup.
Yep. All right. Well, good luck to everybody, and except GSOP, and I'll see you tomorrow, Spence.
All right.